Sitting in the mountains of central Arizona, the city of Flagstaff has been full of rail traffic since the town's creation in the late 1800s. The Atlantic and Pacific Railroad was the first company to lay tracks through Flagstaff in the early 1880s as part of their expansion west. Shortly after, the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe would purchase the line in 1885, incorporating it into the growing system. It's Friday morning and I was out the door at 8:09. I could see the tracks from my room, and it was train after train all morning, so I was excited to get out there for some of the action. I set up at the Ponderosa Parkway crossing by the signal at milepost 342. I began waiting, and by the time 9:30 came around, the freezing cold wind finally sent me back into my room. Darn. I decided to wait out the cold in my room until 11:30 when I headed out to the Flagstaff Amtrak station in the heart of downtown. As soon as I arrived, BNSF ZWIN PHX, Winslow, Arizona to Phoenix, Arizona Priority Intermodal, came around the corner before I had time to set up my tripod, so sorry if the video is a bit shaky. Behind the usual Dash 9 and SD70 leaders, we see a pair of SD40-2 locomotives being moved from Winslow to the train's destination in Phoenix. Another long wait has passed and finally something shows up on the rails. A BNSF high rail truck emerged on Main 1 pulling up to the Beaver Street crossing. He lifted up his wheels and drove away from the tracks, getting out of the way of an eastbound Priority Intermodal. By this point, it was around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so I headed across the street for lunch at the Lumberyard Brewing Company. I got myself some boneless wings, and I don't know if it was just because I was starving, but they were fantastic. While I was in there, a unit ethanol train passed by, so I finished up quickly to get it back across the street. As I was walking down the station platform, the crossing gate surprised me, letting me know a train was seconds away from coming into view. I was able to whip out my camera in time for another eastbound Z train passing by the station. Again, without a tripod. A half hour passes and we see yet another eastbound intermodal coming into town with some Norfolk Southern foreign power. This international stack train would be my last train of the day before heading out tomorrow morning. We were trackside by 0915 set up at the Cosnino Road crossing east of Flagstaff. By now, my brother was in town, so he agreed to bring me out here for a few trains on this sunny Saturday morning. Sitting next to the crossing is a CAT CHX-20E Hyro excavator. Must be some sort of track projects going on nearby. Thankfully, this morning, there were some more knowledgeable people in the Flagstaff virtual Railfan chat, so I was able to get the train symbols today. And that is how I know this westbound intermodal approaching is SFRE-SCO2, stacks coming from Fremont, Nebraska to the Pacific Harbor Line in Los Angeles, California. Bringing up the rear of the train is a very dirty BNSF ES44DC 7555 as a DPU. Ten minutes later, a westbound Z train on its way from the Willow Springs Intermodal Facility in Willow Springs, Illinois, to the Mariposa Yard in Stockton, California, passed by the crossing. Another 25 minutes pass and the crossing gates sound again, this time for eastbound Z SBD AUG 8, priority intermodal from San Bernardino, California, transferring onto the Norfolk Southern, which brings it to its final destination in Atlanta, Georgia. I was just about to pack up my equipment when I heard another westbound Z approaching the crossing less than 2 minutes after the previous train passed. I didn't catch the symbol for him. After that train, I packed up and we hit the road headed to the Grand Canyon. We arrived just after 12:30 and had lunch shortly after. While eating, I heard the unmistakable sound of a steam train whistle through the trees, letting me know what engine was pulling today's Grand Canyon Railway excursion train. After the line was purchased in 1988, passenger operations began on the Grand Canyon Railway in September of 1989. The ex-Santa Fe Railway line runs between the small railroad town of Williams, Arizona in the south to the Grand Canyon Village up here in the north, pulling over 225,000 passengers each year. We drove to the station up here in the village to see GCRY 4960 sitting at the head end of the southbound Grand Canyon Railway train. 4960 is a 282 Class 01A built by the Baldwin Locomotive Works in 1923, originally for the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy Railroad. The Grand Canyon Railway purchased the locomotive in 1989, with it going into service in July of 1996. Since then, it has pulled passengers along the scenic line between Williams, Arizona and the Grand Canyon Village just like it is today. As soon as the clock struck 3:30, the engineer sounded the horn and got the train moving towards Williams, right on time. Well, that's all the train traffic I saw out here on this trip. If you enjoyed, please like the video and consider subscribing to the channel for more future uploads. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope to see you again next time. Bye.